Hello and welcome. It's Frances here. Thank you for coming back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I bid thee welcome. There is a subscribe button below if you would like to help support my channel by subscribing, and also a bell to be notified as to when I upload more content. I'm coming to you from Ghana country, and as such, I acknowledge the Ghana people of the Adelaide Plains as being the traditional custodians of this. So I just want to firstly share my screen because this is going to be a little video in relation to Pluto moving into Aquarius. So especially at the moment, if you are sensitive to energies, you may have felt a bit of a heaviness so far. I mean, we're only like 2 weeks out into this new year. And you may already feel this heaviness, and this is because this Capricorn energy that's about. Because we have the Sun, we have Pluto, we have Mars, we have Mercury, and later we will have Venus all in Capricorn. However, things are about to change because on the 20th of January, we're going to have the Sun conjunct Pluto. Now, this will be at 29 degrees, 59 minutes of Capricorn. It's actually the last degree of the sign. So it's literally at the end of Capricorn. And then on the 21st, within 24 hours, we're going to have both Capricorn and the Sun moving into Aquarius. Now, while this is something that the Sun does annually, it always moves into each stage, each house of the zodiac. When it's doing this moving in with Pluto, this is actually going to be giving us some clarity around a major 25-year milestone, one that we are completing as the two planets come conjunct, as well as giving us some insights in relation to the next 20 years. Because that's how long, so it's about 19 years actually, Pluto is going to be in Aquarius. So it's going to be a major chapter in our life, affecting all of us on various levels. So in order to understand why this transit is very important, why it's getting a lot of astrologers excited, and also disclaimer, I'm not an astrologer, I just have an interest in astrology, and particularly these transits. So to find out why this is important, we need to look at what Pluto means, especially from an astrological sense. Starting off with it being the furthest planet from the Sun. Okay, it's been demoted to a dwarf planet, but within astrological terms, it's still seen as a planet. And it was only discovered in 1930. So that's still less than 100 years ago. It's named after the Roman god of the underworld, Pluto, also known by the Greek as Hades. And as such, it's considered to be the planet associated or connected with death, rebirth, and transformation. And when it changes signs, and this is quite important because it's done this quite a bit lately, sort of retrograding back into Capricorn, moving into Aquarius, retrograding back again. When it changes signs, huge cosmic shifts often occur. Due to its lengthy 248-year orbit, the length of time it takes to go around the Sun, this means that Pluto actually spends between 11.5 years and 30.5 years in any one particular sign. And for half the year, it's often a retrograde, and this is what we're experiencing at the moment. So it was back in 2008 when Pluto moved into Capricorn. And Capricorn's a sign that's connected with the government, it's connected with structure and the practical. And what happened shortly after that, we saw the whole banking collapse. We've also seen in this time sort of a rise on authoritarian sort of government styles, corporations growing really big in their power. And while Pluto is dancing between Capricorn and Aquarius, especially of late, it's bringing in more Aquarian energetics, which includes independence, community, innovations, freedom, and the like. And there's been other transits at play as well, so we won't go down that rabbit hole. It's also interesting to look at what was happening the last time Pluto was in Aquarius. So that was back in the 18th century, from 1778 through to 1798. And this coincided with the beginning of the Age of Revolution, where various countries challenged the ruling authorities of the time. So we had the American Revolution, we had the French Revolution, there's also the Haitian Revolution, there's also the Irish Rebellion. It's brought about by the famine, which in turn was brought about by the blight on the potato crop. And it's interesting if we go a little bit further back, see what happened the time before, from 1532 to 1553. There was another revolution that happened. This time it was the Protestant Reformation that challenged the authority of the Catholic Church. So this sort of highlights that while Aquarius is the sign of revolutionary, it's a visionary sign, the change that it brings through can actually be achieved without war and complete destruction. Although through the Protestant Reformation, they stripped back a lot of the cathedrals, and even go to places like, especially around England today, you can still see sort of the ruins of some of the buildings there, and one that comes to mind is Fountain Abbey. And you can just think of what they were like in their heyday, but it was all this sort of like with the other revolutions, this distribution of wealth, sort of bringing things back to power to the people, so to speak. So what does it mean when Pluto now moves into Aquarius? What is Aquarius? Well, it's the air sign, and air signs are connected with thought, intellect, reasoning, how we communicate, also how we organize the information that we communicate with. Aquarius is a fixed sign, which means that it has a sort of like design to maintain the current state of things, which can make it seem rather stubborn or unaccepting of anything that it doesn't sort of fit into. It doesn't see it will fit into its own ideals, how things should be. And this stubbornness is quite an interesting contrast to Aquarius, because Aquarians are usually considered to be quite radical thinkers, the bringers of ideas, new ideas into the world. However, I think it's important that we keep in mind that Aquarius can be extreme and exacting when it comes to ideas or new ideas. It can simply take action, has this attitude that, well, I did it because it needed to be done. It was for the greater good. And if you don't see it that way, well, too bad. That sort of attitude. Aquarius is also a sign being associated with scientific logic and reasoning. So when Pluto enters it, we may actually see some long-held beliefs being turned on their head. During the Age of Revolution in the 18th century, It was the new ideas around government and rulership that saw a lot of the revolutions taking place. So Aquarius challenges the status quo. Now this sort of raises a question. What is the status quo that we will be challenged with this time around? And we shouldn't really lose sight that innovations take place at this time when Pluto moves into Aquarius as well. In 1796, vaccines were developed. And the first case was when physician Edward Jenner inoculated a child with cowpox, leading to the development of the world's first vaccine for smallpox. And up to that time, this was a disease that actually wreaked havoc on hundreds of millions of people all around the world for many centuries. What new information about disease, or more importantly, about the treatment for these diseases, will we learn this time around? Will we finally find that cure for cancer that everybody talks about? Aquarius also rules television, the internet, technology. Maybe we'll see some major changes, realizations about, say, how we use the information in our mobile phones, our computers, and everything else that is connected to these modern ways of communication. Apps, how we sync information, updates, downloads, etc. We should also keep in mind that Pluto is also the planet of immense power and wealth. So as it moves in Aquarius, will we see conflict or changes occurring between, say, people and technology being used? The dissolution and mergers of maybe big tech companies, big information companies, telcos. May there be power struggles between governments and these big tech companies? We're seeing some of these come to light already, especially as artificial intelligence, AI, is being rolled out. Governments wanting to sort of establish some more control around them. So why don't we spend a moment and look at Pluto? As the lord of the underworld, Pluto is the planet that exposes and unearths things. He reveals secrets and half-truths, untruths, lies. And these can actually be connected with whatever sign it is in. As I mentioned earlier, when Pluto was in Capricorn, we saw the uncovering of the government corruption and secrets due to data leaks. Going like this, because sometimes these data leaks aren't actually leaks at all. There's also secrets being revealed in relation to special interest groups, whistleblowers. A little bit of an unveiling. So when Pluto moves through Aquarius, what secrets, what alternative motives will we see, will be exposed? Will some of these be in connection with these big tech or telco companies? And especially when it comes around to artificial intelligence and all the advances made in that area, what will be disclosed, revealed there? So in summary, Pluto in Aquarius is bound to be a revolutionary time, and as such, it's really up to each and every one of us to focus on striving forward towards these Aquarian ideals of equality and unity, of working together in order to build a better and fairer society, the new world that a lot of astrologers have been talking about, and also looking out for those who have fallen through the cracks or who are in danger of falling through the cracks. On a more personal level, Pluto can also bring about transformation, evolution, revolution. in our own lives. It could actually mean the death or the ending of something, usually in order to bring forth a rebirth of something in someone else. Or it could relate to bringing something that's been in our subconscious, been hidden, into the light, into our conscious awareness. Something that's being pushed back that we haven't used or utilized for a long time. And it's interesting to think back to a time in your life where you've gone through irrevocable or irreversible change. Because this is almost certain that Pluto was active in your chart. Then again, it could have been Neptune or Uranus. And you had to undergo a really drastic change, and your old life no longer applies. So it is sort of beneficial if you've got your natal chart, your birth chart, to look to see what house Pluto's in. Because this could actually give you some clues. Also look to see what house Aquarius and also Capricorn is in. Because there's still a little bit of a dance between Capricorn and Aquarius that Pluto will be going through to. I think it moves into Aquarius 21st through into about September. September retrogrades back into Capricorn. And so I'm going to be there for another 3 months or so before it moves into Aquarius, where it will stay there until 2043. And another thing to sort of keep in mind too is think back to last year, the 23rd of March last year, and what was happening in your life then. So this is time around the equinox, that we also had an eclipse, and either side of that date, so a week either side. And the reason I'm mentioning this is that there could very well be an echo of what happened back then reoccurring as Pluto transits through Aquarius. So if you're wanting a little bit of assistance to sort of work out, feel into these energies, make a sort of a deeper connection, a deeper insight and understanding on a deeper level, I have a couple of offerings coming up. The first is an online week-long conference, Reawakening the Sacred Self, where I have been very blessed to be the space holder for about 22, 23 speakers from all around the world. And it's a free conference. You can register. Registration is for free as well. All you need to go to Reawaken Sacred Self, or one word.com, and sign up. Or you can go to the mysticalsoulacademy.com webpage, go under offerings on your right hand side, and you'll find the link there as well. So that's starting at the end of this month, from the 29th of January through to the 2nd of February. And then in April, I will be holding my Embracing the Shadow and Rebirthing the New. This is a 7-module online course. It'll be held via Zoom calls, which will be live and recorded. So if you're not able to join the Zoom calls at the time because of the different time zones, you will still get a recording of the modules, where we're looking at mythologies, using them as a key, as sort of a guide to dive into our shadow self. And that could actually be very beneficial as we're moving through this transit with Pluto. And again, if you're interested in Embracing the Shadows, Rebirthing the New, you can find details on mysticalsoulacademy.com under offerings, or on the right hand side of the screen. So I do hope that you have found this presentation of interest. Pluto moves into Aquarius next week on the 21st. It will be doing so hand in hand with the Sun. So we could be gearing up for some big changes ahead. So I hope you stay safe and blessing.